a sixth grader was arrested at school for not standing up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I wish I was kidding. It's kind of funny. Tragically funny. A sixth grader faces charges. A sixth grader faces charges of disrupting a school function and resisting arrest. Can you resist arrest when you're 11 years old? Is that even physically possible? You could resist, or so
maybe he hid under his desk and like curled up in a ball, like just
charging a kid with resisting arrest.
This kind of stuff makes me so angry at the adults in charge, and that they have to handle a kid this way
criminally.
It's all fucking punitive. It's always that's the reaction of bureaucracy.
Unbelievable. In a statement Sunday, Lakeland police say a school resource officer was alerted to a disturbance created by a student in the classroom at Lawton Childs Middle Academy on February 4th. This is why you shouldn't have a cop at a school.
I like how they're called resource officers.
What's your resource? My resource is to come and do
bullying 11-year-olds.
Yeah.
I bully 11-year-olds.
I come around, I bully 11. I threaten them with prosecution.
What do they have to do to get that threat? But think for themselves.
Yeah.
Have independent thought.
Yeah, not stand up during the pledge, stuff like that. According to police, the student initially refused to leave the room. Because you know why? Because the student didn't have to leave the room. The student was within the rules. The student was 11 and knew the rules better than the adults. According to police, the student initially refused to leave the room, continued to be disruptive, and made threats while being escorted. Made threats. An 11-year-old made threats. This is the cops talking. Now, do you know why cops ubiquitously have something wrong with them? This is the police department talking. What? He made threats while being escorted to the school's office by the officer and the school's dean.
So 3 grown-ups couldn't handle this situation.
Oh, my.
Two grown adults handling an 11-year-old. He's saying stuff.
He's making threats.
We might not be safe.
He's making threats. The statement says the student was charged based on his failure to comply with the officers and the dean's orders, not his refusal to participate in the pledge. Polk County students aren't required to stand for the pledge. Yeah, so you couldn't arrest him for that.
Yeah, I mean, what a terrible... Well, he didn't comply with us. Well, what were you trying to make him comply to? Well, we wanted him to leave for doing what? For doing something he does every morning, and he has every right to do. Okay. See the problem here?
See the problem? We were giving him incorrect orders. He knew better than us. In a WTSP TV report, the boy's mother said the 11-year-old normally declines to stand for the pledge. He had a substitute teacher on February 4th, and she had ordered him to stand up. A substitute teacher is going to pull crap like that? That seems stupid. Like, holy crap. You're a substitute teacher and you're looking for problems? That's a substitute teacher at the beginning of class looking for a problem, trying to have a conflict. That's a horrible teacher. Whoever this is a horrible teacher.
Yeah, no kidding.
Let me correct you. A bad substitute teacher is different than a fully credentialed teacher.
Correct. The boy's mother said the school should have disciplined her son differently. He has moved to a private school. In a statement Monday, school district officials said the substitute teacher had not been aware of the policy allowing students to opt out of the pledge.
Okay, but the policeman or the resource...
And the dean didn't know?
Security guard didn't know, or the dean?
When the student told her, she's going to, hey, I don't have to stand. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Because you want to establish authority.
Yeah.
Why would you want to make a
Yeah.
kid?
That's why.
Why would you want to? Why would
This
you?
is all power struggle.
Why would you want to impose patriotism on someone? Because that's all that is. Wow. The teacher, the substitute teacher, was asked to leave the school after the boy's arrest, and she would no longer be allowed to work in any of the districts. What about that dean and that cop?
Well, first off,
What about the cop who's charging that kid? He still be allowed to work there? And what about that dean?
that nobody protests that this kid was being arrested, that no adult at the school was
Stepped
protecting
in.
this kid, was an advocate on behalf of
Right.
this kid,
There's-
that there wasn't a school counselor advocating for
Right.
this kid, that nobody was there to protect this kid. Of course, I would take my kid out immediately. But then how they're going to solve this situation is now they're going to fire the substitute teacher. Hey, you know what?
That's not.
No. The substitute teacher didn't arrest the kid. The substitute teacher
Didn't
showed
charge
that-
the kid.
No, didn't drag the kid out of the classroom. The substitute teacher needs training. And the school officials, administration, they need to be removed from the district.
They need to
because
be
they
that
mishandled.
Dean. That dean needs
And
to
that
be.
resource security guard, policeman, whatever.
First of all, they need to get the cop out of the school. What do you think cops are going to do when they're in a school? What do you think they're going to do? Can you imagine going to a school and there's a fucking cop there?
Can you imagine going to school today where you're wondering if you're going to get shot any given day? Where you have
Jesus.
to have drills for school shootings. And now, if you think for yourself, you might just get arrested. If you do something within your rights, you might just get arrested.
According to the statement, the officer decided to arrest the student, though no one from the school requested to press charges.
What?
So that cop, you talk about, so there's a couple of thumb dick mother effers over at this school, huh? First of all, that substitute teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say thumb dick, I mean someone who is really lacking in character, has a hole inside of them as a person, in their personality, and they do stuff like this to try to fill it up. They try to control an 11-year-old. So that substitute teacher's gone, that dean should be gone, and that stupid cop should be gone. Put a cop in school with 11-year-olds? What are you doing? Hey, let's find a way to criminalize kids. So kid gets charged. The kid did, and they're going to get charged with a crime? Criminalizing normal child behavior. You're supposed to get and if you do something wrong in school, you're supposed to get a detention, not arrested. That's what happens when you have an asshole cop inside a school, a place of higher learning. Cops aren't about higher learning. That's why they're cops. I don't know if that ever dawned on you. Cops and school don't go together.
I'm kind of interested. Did anybody at the school ever read the Pledge of Allegiance out loud?
I'm wondering.
You know, liberty and justice for all.
And liberty and justice for all, not enforced patriotism for all. No liberty, no justice, but enforced patriotism. What a bunch of asswipes at this school district. What's the name of this school district? The Lakeland.
Lakeland.
The Lawton Childs Middle Academy. The Lawton Childs Middle Academy. Well, your dean needs to be fired, and you need to get rid of that cop. And whoever else was around needs to be fired. How about that? Lawton Childs Middle Academy. And the Lakeland Police. We should call the Lakeland Police, get a comment.
I also want a comment from the superintendent of that school
Yeah.
district, and I want to know the apology that they've provided to the family.
Me too. I want to know. I want to know what this...
Well, as of the
I want to
recording
know
of
the
this,
cop's name.
Yeah, as of the recording of this, they basically just said, "Well, it was because he was resisting. He wasn't complying. He was making threats."
How about don't bring a cop into a goddamn class situation?
Yeah, what was the initial conflict? He did what he does every morning.
Yeah. So now normal behavior from kids, whether they be instead of now being handled at a school and being a detention or being given extra homework or a demerit or whoever, now the cop's there, so now everything a kid does is criminal. So now instead of it being a normal thing that that takes place every day in schools all over the world, and it's handled without a crime being, now because there's a cop there, the kid's a criminal. Do you see why you don't want cops in your goddamn schools? Cops aren't the clearest thinkers. They're very black and white thinking. They're not creative. They're the opposite of what you want around a school. Cops. Believe me. And I know cops. My grandpa was a cop. My dad was a cop. My oldest brother's a cop. My best friends in Chicago are all cops. We're announcing our live dates for 2019. We're going to Chicago and Portland, Seattle, New York, all over the country. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for all our tickets to all our shows. It'll be right underneath there, too. Please become a patron if you like our content and help support the show. You can become a patron for $5 a month, and we give you hours of bonus material. And make sure you're subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I'm not kidding. Make sure you're subscribed and click that bell so they give you a notice when we drop a video. It's the only thing we can do to fight back against the bastards. Thanks for your support.